During my pregnancy announcement party, both husband and SIL ganged up on me and claimed that they found evidence of me cheating only for them to tell me that it was all a prank. Let's start today. Story. The scene opens with Sarah, a glowing mother-to-be, arranging the final touches for her pregnancy announcement party in the cozy living room of her suburban New York home. The soft glow of fairy lights illuminates the baby-themed decorations, blue and pink balloons, tiny baby shoes on the table, and a coming soon banner draped across the wall. Family and friends mingle, their laughter blending with the cheerful background music. Sarah, dressed in a flowing pastel dress, looks radiant and brims with excitement. She smiles as she cradles her belly, soaking in the love and warmth of the gathering. However, amidst the joy, a subtle but unsettling detail catches her attention. Her husband, Mark, stands by the kitchen island with his sister, Lisa, both whispering and exchanging knowing glances. Mark chuckles softly, and Lisa smirks, quickly averting her eyes when Sarah looks their way. For a moment, Sarah's brow furrows, a faint unease creeping in, but she shakes it off, attributing it to pre-party jitters. After all, this day is about celebrating new beginnings. What could possibly go wrong? The atmosphere at the party is buzzing with excitement as Sarah stands near the center of the room, her heart brimming with joy. Clinking her glass gently to grab everyone's attention, she takes a deep breath and announces the news she's been waiting to share. Mark and I are expecting a baby. The room erupts into cheers and applause. Family and friends rush forward to congratulate her, their faces alight with happiness. Mark, however, remains still, a faint, unreadable smile playing on his lips. Standing next to him, Lisa glances at him nervously, her expression a mix of anticipation and apprehension. As the noise dies down, Mark steps forward, his voice cutting through the joyful chatter. "Before we celebrate, Sarah," he says, pausing dramatically, "don't you think it's time you were honest about everything?" The room falls silent. All eyes are now on Sarah, who blinks in confusion, her earlier excitement replaced by a growing sense of dread. "What are you talking about, Mark?" she asks, her voice trembling slightly. Mark continues, his tone cold and deliberate. "I didn't want to bring this up here, but Lisa and I have found proof that you've been cheating on me." Gasps ripple through the crowd as Lisa steps forward, holding up her phone to display a series of text messages and blurry photos. Sarah's heart pounds as she stares at the so-called evidence, her mind reeling. "What? This is ridiculous! I've never—" She starts, but Mark interrupts, his words sharp and biting. "Save it, Sarah. We've seen enough." The guests, who moments ago were celebrating, now murmur among themselves, their expressions ranging from shock to disbelief. Sarah feels the weight of their stares, her cheeks burning with humiliation. Her voice cracks as she pleads, "Mark, this isn't true. Why would you do this to me?" But Mark and Lisa stand firm, their accusations cutting deeper with every word. As the tension in the room reaches its peak, Sarah's mind races, desperately trying to understand how her joyous announcement has turned into her worst nightmare. The room remains tense, thick with disbelief and judgment. Sarah stands frozen, her vision blurring as tears threaten to fall. The humiliation weighs heavily on her chest, making it hard to breathe. Whispers ripple through the crowd, but they seem distant compared to the sharp, painful sting of Mark and Lisa's accusations. Her trembling hands clutch the edge of the table for support as she finally finds her voice, though it cracks with a mixture of anger and despair. "How could you do this to me, Mark?" she asks, her words barely audible but filled with raw emotion. Turning to Lisa, her expression hardens, though her hurt is still evident. "And you? I trusted you. Why would you lie like this?" Neither of them flinches, their stoic faces only adding to the betrayal she feels. Sarah's mind begins to spiral. unable to reconcile the people she thought she knew with their current cruelty. As Mark and Lisa exchange smug glances, Sarah's thoughts drift to the past, unbidden memories surfacing like wounds reopened. She remembers Mark's excitement when they first talked about starting a family, how he held her hand and promised to be her rock. She recalls moments of laughter with Lisa, sharing secrets and building a bond she thought was unbreakable. Each flashback sharpens her pain, twisting the knife of betrayal deeper. Her thoughts race. Why would they do this? What could they possibly gain from tearing her down like this, on what was supposed to be the happiest day of her life? Doubts creep in, not just about them, but about herself. Did she miss signs? Was she too... The once clear divide now clouded with doubt. Some friends and family rally to Sarah's side, voicing their support and expressing outrage at Mark and Lisa's actions. Others remain skeptical, their silence or whispered exchanges betraying their lingering suspicions. The party atmosphere, once filled with joy, has turned thick with tension, awkward pauses punctuating the uneasy conversations around the room. Mark, unwilling to back down, doubles down on his accusations. "You're just trying to talk your way out of it, Sarah," he says, his tone harsh. "We know what we saw." Lisa nods emphatically, crossing her arms in a show of defiance. But Sarah isn't intimidated. Though her heart aches from the betrayal, her determination to defend herself pushes her forward. "If this is all you have, then you have nothing," she fires back, her voice steady despite the emotional turmoil swirling inside her. The standoff grows more intense as Mark and Lisa refuse to relent, their accusations growing louder and more desperate. The room becomes a battleground, each side digging in, leaving Sarah emotionally raw but resolute. Despite the overwhelming pressure, she refuses to let their lies break her spirit. The tension in the room is palpable as Sarah stands at the center of the chaos, her emotions unraveling. Her hands tremble, and her voice wavers as she confronts Mark and Lisa one final time. "Why are you doing this to me?" she pleads, her eyes welling with tears. "Why today, of all days, when we should be celebrating the life we're bringing into this world?" Her words hang in the air, heavy with pain and confusion. The room falls silent, save for the sound of Sarah's shaky breaths. Even the guests, who had been murmuring in small groups, stop to listen, their gazes bouncing between Sarah and the accused duo. Suddenly, Mark and Lisa exchange a glance, and, to Sarah's astonishment, they burst into laughter. The sound cuts through the room like a blade, leaving everyone stunned. "Oh, Sarah," Mark says, shaking his head with a smirk. "You're taking this way too seriously. It was just a joke." Lisa chimes in, her grin wide but insincere. "Yeah, we just wanted to see how you'd react. You've been so uptight lately. This was supposed to lighten the mood." For a moment, Sarah is too stunned to speak. Her mind races, struggling to process their words. A joke? They had accused her of infidelity in front of everyone she cared about, humiliated her, and tarnished what should have been one of the happiest days of her life. All for the sake of a prank? The room is frozen in shock, the weight of their confession sinking in. Then the murmurs begin. Guests exchange bewildered and disapproving looks, their initial shock turning to anger. Someone whispers, "How could they think that was funny?" while another shakes their head in disbelief. Sarah's heart feels like it's shattering. The pain and betrayal she had endured were not born of genuine suspicion, but of their twisted sense of humor. She stares at Mark and Lisa, her expression a mix of disbelief, hurt, and simmering anger. Their laughter fades as they begin to realize that no one else in the room is laughing with them. The silence is deafening as Sarah processes the confession. The joyous celebration has been reduced to an uncomfortable, emotionally charged scene, leaving everyone, especially Sarah, questioning how anyone could think such a cruel act was harmless. The weight of the confession settles over Sarah like a crushing wave. The shock is quickly overtaken by a surge of anger, hot and relentless. Her voice, trembling with fury, cuts through the room as she confronts Mark and Lisa. "How could you do this to me? Do you have any idea how humiliated I feel right now, in front of everyone I care about?" she demands, her words sharp and raw with emotion. Mark takes a step back, momentarily startled by the intensity of her reaction. But Sarah doesn't stop. She turns her gaze to Lisa, her voice rising. "You've always claimed to be my friend, Lisa, someone I could trust. But this is beyond cruel. You didn't just hurt me, you destroyed what should have been a perfect moment." Tears stream down her face, but her resolve doesn't waver. The crowd, initially silent, begins to stir. A few of Sarah's closest friends step forward, their faces etched with outrage. One of them places a supportive hand on Sarah's shoulder and says firmly, "This wasn't a joke, Mark." It was mean-spirited and disgusting. You owe her an apology. More guests start to speak up, their voices carrying undertones of anger and disapproval. "That was completely uncalled for," someone mutters. Another adds, "How could you think this was funny? Look at what you've done." The growing support forms a protective barrier around Sarah, easing some of the pain and isolation she felt moments before. Mark, visibly uncomfortable now, raises his hands defensively. I thought it would lighten the mood," he says, his tone tinged with defensiveness. "It wasn't supposed to go this far. I thought Sarah would laugh it off." His justification falls flat, the hollow words doing nothing to repair the damage. Lisa crosses her arms and tries to chime in, but the scornful looks from the guests silence her. The crowd's judgment becomes palpable, their collective disapproval isolating Mark and Lisa even further. Sarah shakes her head, her voice steady but laced with pain. "Laugh it off," she repeats, her tone incredulous. "You tore me down in front of everyone. You made me question my worth, my trust in you. And you think I should just laugh it off?" Mark's attempt to explain only deepens the rift, his reasoning incapable of justifying the emotional devastation he's caused. The party that once symbolized joy and celebration has become a battleground of emotions, with Sarah finally standing up for herself amidst the fallout of betrayal. The party, once filled with the promise of celebration, now feels like a battlefield Sarah can no longer endure. Her chest tightens as the murmurs of disapproval and pity follow her every move. With her head held high, despite the tears brimming in her eyes, she gathers her belongings and announces she's leaving. "I need space," she says quietly to her closest friend, who offers to accompany her. "No, I'll be fine. I need time to think." As the door closes behind her, the weight of the evening crashes down. The betrayal, the humiliation, the disillusionment. It's all too much. Sarah drives home in silence. The festive decorations and happy memories she'd envisioned for the day now feeling like cruel reminders of what could have been. At home, Sarah doesn't have long to collect herself before Mark follows her in, his expression guarded, but not remorseful enough for her liking. She turns to face him, her voice low but firm. "What were you thinking, Mark? How could you do this to me? To us?" Mark hesitates, shuffling his feet as if searching for the right words. "I told you, Sarah, it was a joke. I didn't mean for it to go this far." "A joke?" she snaps, her composure cracking. "You accused me of cheating in front of everyone I care about. Do you have any idea how that felt? How am I supposed to trust you after this? How can I trust that you care about me or our baby?" Mark's defenses crumble under her piercing questions. He tries to apologize, but his words feel hollow, and Sarah's doubt deepens. The confrontation becomes a turning point, forcing both of them to confront the cracks in their relationship that this incident has exposed. Meanwhile, back at the party, Lisa lingers, her confident facade beginning to falter under the weight of the guest's judgment. She corners another attendee, a distant cousin, in the kitchen, trying to justify her actions. "I didn't mean to hurt Sarah," Lisa says, her voice tinged with desperation. "It was supposed to be funny. Mark thought it would lighten the mood." The cousin raises an eyebrow but remains silent, prompting Lisa to continue. "Sarah, she's always been the perfect one, you know? Mark dotes on her. Everyone adores her. I guess I just wanted to shake things up, remind her she's not untouchable." Her words reveal a layer of insecurity that had been simmering beneath the surface all along. Lisa's need for attention, her jealousy of Sarah's seemingly perfect life, had driven her to participate in a scheme that went far beyond a harmless prank. The fallout of the evening ripples through every interaction, leaving relationships strained and the once celebratory atmosphere marred by the consequences of a cruel joke gone too far. As the weight of the evening lingers, Sarah knows she cannot allow this betrayal to go unchecked. In the quiet of their home, she sits across from Mark, her hands folded tightly in her lap to still their trembling. Her voice, steady but steeled with resolve, breaks the silence. "This isn't something we can just move past, Mark. What you did wasn't a joke. It was cruel, and it broke something between us." Mark looks up, his expression conflicted, but Sarah doesn't give him time to interrupt. "You embarrassed me, you humiliated me, and worst of all, you made me doubt the foundation of our relationship. I need to know if I can even trust you anymore," she continues, her words measured but cutting. She takes a deep breath and lays down her ultimatum. "Here's what's going to happen. If you want any chance at rebuilding what you've broken, you're going to have to take responsibility. A real apology, Mark, not excuses, not justifications. And if you ever pull something like this again, I'll walk away. I will not bring our child into an environment where I can't trust the person I'm with." Her words hang in the air, and for the first time that night, Mark appears truly shaken. The possibility of losing Sarah and their unborn child, and Sophia can finally move forward, free from the shadows of betrayal. The story reaches its emotional peak when the true extent of Emily's downfall becomes clear. No longer living the life of luxury she once took for granted, Emily is now working a low-paying job, struggling to make ends meet. She's a far cry from the confident, successful woman she once was, and her days are filled with the harsh reality of rebuilding a life she destroyed. The contrast is stark as James and Sophia flourish in their new reality. Sophia excels in school, her confidence and joy slowly returning as she moves past the trauma of her mother's betrayal. James, having found peace in his new life, focuses on giving Sophia the future she deserves, free from the pain of the past. As the story nears its end, James reflects on the painful yet transformative power of betrayal. Through his narration, he shares a poignant truth. While betrayal can destroy lives, it can also create opportunities for growth and renewal. The final scene is one of quiet triumph as James and Sophia are shown moving into a new home, leaving behind the shadows of their former life. It's a fresh start, and the weight of their past no longer holds them back. In a twist ending, as James closes the door to their new home, the camera lingers on a letter from Emily left unread on the counter. It's a symbol of her regret, but it's clear that both James and Sophia have no intention of looking back. The letter, untouched and forgotten, serves as a final reminder that Emily's betrayal will never define their future. The door closes, signifying the closing of that chapter and the promise of a better tomorrow for James and Sophia. As the story draws to a close, the message is clear and powerful. Trust is hard to build, but easy to destroy. When betrayal strikes, it's not the end but the beginning of a new chapter. This poignant truth serves as the final reflection on Emily's actions and the life-changing consequences that followed. While the betrayal shattered the family, it also set the stage for healing and growth. James and Sophia's journey demonstrates that even after the deepest wounds, there is always room for rebuilding and moving forward. Their new life is a testament to resilience, showing that the end of one chapter can lead to the hopeful beginning of another. To wrap things up, viewers are encouraged to share their thoughts in the comments section. Was James's revenge justified, or was there another way for him to handle the situation? What would you have done in his place? Their opinions matter, and this invites engagement on a deeper level. Viewers are also encouraged to subscribe for more captivating stories like this one, ensuring they don't miss out on future videos that explore emotional depth, personal transformation, and the complexities of human relationships. Thank you for being a part of this story with me. If it moved you, please give the video a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I've noticed many of you who enjoy these stories aren't subscribed yet. By subscribing, you're not just following a channel. You're becoming part of a community that values deep, meaningful storytelling. Let's continue exploring these heartfelt journeys together. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you won't miss our next story.